his coat and put Jesus on it. As he went along, people spread their cloaks on the road. The whole crowd of disciples began joyfully to praise God in loud voices for all the miracles they had seen. Blessed is the King who comes in the name of the Lord. Peace in heaven and glory in the highest. Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." "I tell you," Jesus replied, "if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out." As Jesus approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, "If you even had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes." What happened to the crowds? The disciples? What about their dashed hopes? The peace hidden from their eyes? God in Jesus Christ takes the tattered rags of broken and sinful lives, ripped, torn, shabby, bedraggled, destined for the dump, and does a wonderful thing. Listen now to a tale by Walter Wagner called The Ragman, and you will hear a story, or perhaps I should say the stories of God's redeeming work. I saw a strange sight. I stumbled upon a story most strange, like nothing in my life, my street sense, my sly tongue had ever prepared me for. Hush now, and I'll tell it to you. Even before the dawn one Friday morning, I noticed a young man, handsome and strong, walking the alleys of our city. Carrying a little duffel, filled with clothes, but bright new. He was calling in a clear tenor voice.
Rags!
The air was foul, and the first light felt it would be crossed with such sweet music.
Rags! New rags for old. I take a tie, rags, rags.
This was a wonder, I thought to myself, for the man stood tall, and his arms were hard and muscular, and his eyes flashed intelligence. Could he find no better job than this, to be a ragman in our city? I followed him. My curiosity drove me, and I was not disappointed.
Soon the ragman saw a woman sitting on her back porch. She was sobbing into a handkerchief, sighing and shedding 1,000 tears. Her heart was breaking. The ragman stopped. Quietly he walked to the woman, stepping round the clutter and trash.
Give me your rag, and I'll give you mine.
He slit the handkerchief from her eyes. She looked up, and he laid in her palm a linen cloth so clean that it shined. She blinked from the gift to the giver.
Thank you. I will remember.
Then, as he put his duffel back on his shoulder, the ragman did a strange thing. He put her stained handkerchief to his own face, and then he began to weep. He sobbed as furiously as she had, yet she was left without a tear. This is a wonder, I breathed to myself. And I followed the sobbing ragman, like a child who could not turn away from a mystery.
Rags, rags. New rags for old.
The sky showed gray, and I could see shredded curtains hanging out of the windows. Round me came upon a girl whose head was wrapped in a bandage. Her eyes were empty. Blood soaked her bandage. A single line of blood ran down her cheek.
The ragman looked upon this child with pity, and he drew a lovely new cap from his coat.
Give me your rag, and I'll give you mine.
The child could only gaze at him while he removed the bandage and tied it to his own head. The new cap he set on hers, and I gasped at what I saw. For the wound went with the bandage. Against his brow it ran a darker, more substantial blood stain. His own!
Thank you. I will remember.
Rags.
The child began to tell the neighborhood about the ragman's kindness and healing.
Rags, rags, I take old rags.
And so continued the sobbing, pleading, strong, intelligent ragman. The sun was up high, and the ragman seemed more and more to her.
Are you going to work?
The ragman asked the man who leaned against the telephone. The man shook his head.
Do you have a job?
Are you crazy?
The man pulled away from the pole, revealing his sleeve of his jacket, black, cuffed and stuffed into his pocket. He had no arm.
Give me your jacket, and I'll give you mine.
The one-armed man took off his jacket. So did the ragman, and I trembled at what I saw. The ragman's arm stayed in his sleeve. When the man put it on, he had two good arms, hard and muscular. The ragman only had one.
Go to work.
You have healed me, and I will remember. Next, he found a drunk, unconscious, beneath a tattered blanket, an old person, hunched, wizened, and sick. He took that blanket and wrapped it around himself. But for the drunk, he left new clothes, cloth clothes.
And now I had to run to keep up with the ragman, though he was weeping uncontrollably, and bleeding at the forehead, clasping his duffel with one arm, stumbling through darkness, falling again and again, exhausted, old, and sick, yet he lived with terrible speed.
He skittered through the alleys of the city, this night and the next, until he came to its limits, and then he rushed beyond. I wept to see the change in this man. I hurt to see his sorrow, and yet I needed to see where he was going in such haste, perhaps to know what drove him so.
The wounded ragman came to the landfill, the garbage pits, and then I wanted to help him in what he did. But I hung back, hiding. He climbed a hill. The tormented lady cleared a little space on that hill.
Then he sighed. He lay down. He covered his pathetic bones with a tattered blanket, this once handsome figure, and he died. Oh, how I cried to witness that death. I wailed and mourned, as one who has no hope, because I had come to love the ragman. Every other face had faded in the wonder of this man, and I cherished him. But he died. I sobbed myself to sleep. I did not know, how could I know, that I slept through Friday night and Saturday, and it's night too. But then, on Sunday morning, I was wakened by violence.
Light, pure, hard demanding light, slammed against my face, and I blinked, and I looked, and I saw the last and the first wonder of all. There was the ragman, folding the blanket most carefully, a scar on his forehead, but alive, and besides that, healthy. There was no sign of sorrow nor of age, and all the rags that he had gathered shined for cleanliness.
Then I lowered my head, and trembling for all that I had seen, I myself walked up to the ragman. I told him my name with shame, for I was a sorry figure next to him. Then I gave him my filthy clothes and said to him in a dear, yearning voice, "Dress me."
He dressed me, my Lord. He put new clothes on me, and I am a wonder beside him. The ragman, the Christ, I will remember. I will tell the story again and again.
Colossians 3:7 through 14. You used to walk in these ways in the life you once lived, but now you must rid yourselves of all anger, rage, malice, slander, and filthy language from your lips. Do not lie to each other, since you have taken off your old self with its practices.
You have put on the new self, which is being renewed in knowledge in the image of its creator. Here there is no Greek or Jew, circumcised or uncircumcised, slave or free, but Christ is all and is in all.
Therefore, as God's chosen people, holy and dearly loved, clothe yourself with compassion, kindness, humility, gentleness, and patience. Bear with each other, and forgive whatever grievance you may have against one another. Forgive as the Lord forgave you, and over all these virtues put on love, which binds them all together in perfect peace. And the people of God said, Amen.
As the disciples gathered in the upper room around the table with Jesus, Luke 22:19 through 20 says, Then Jesus took a loaf of bread, and when he had given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me.
And he did the same with the cup after supper, saying, This cup that is poured out for you is the new covenant of my blood. Do this in remembrance of me.